Actually, we are experiencing very interesting times, in my opinion. There's so much of transformation that is happening, especially the chemistry between industry and academia. So there were times where each one of them looking at the other party with lots of skepticism. So academia is looking at industry as people who only take students and then give nothing back, and especially the Indian industry. And then industry is looking at academia as people of places where there are lots of these courses, but when the students come out, we need to retrain them, and then lots of investment in terms of making them as employable. So, and then other thing is skepticism in terms of what really, what is the value if we sort of invest our time, money, effort in partnering with academia. Those were the times. But now, so much of energy, so much of positivism, so much of enthusiasm that is actually shaping a new kind of relationships between these two worlds. And then I have to say that Microsoft has been a great partner for all the academic institutions in the country. They have been setting right examples for other industry leaders to follow in various ways. So obviously this is one of them, but it's not just the only one. There are several other ways in which Microsoft partners. So it's the most benevolent industry partner, I would say. So there's one thing that we've been hearing about these hackathons and appathons and so on. The only one great value that it creates, it actually shows a little bit of the alignment of energy that is there in students. If you align them, what kind of achievement or what kind of things can be created in a short span of time. It is just to tell people that this is your potential, which is much more than what you think is your potential. So these are the events that actually demonstrate that. In other words, to put it in simple terms, each of our young men and women are like Hanumans. They don't know what they are capable of. The moment it is being demonstrated, like within 24 hours, this is what you can achieve, right? Now they realize what their potential is. Now the bar is suddenly raised, and then they can never go below that. Lives are changed. From that time onwards, the energy, the expectations on themselves, the expectations from the people around is suddenly like much more than what they thought the bar is. So that is the great value addition of conducting this. But then, one thing it also gives is the opportunities for the students to collect a lot of dots. This is kind of very important part, because as a student, if you are able to collect lots of dots, then when you are in the field fighting the battles in the real world, you will be able to connect all these dots. Many of us in our earlier generations have failed to collect the dots because that kind of exposure is not there. Today, there are a lot of opportunities for students to collect these dots so that they can connect them later very well. So these are the events that have no ending. That's very important. Code Fun Do is not a 24-hour event that ends at that point in time. I was talking to some of the students from IIIT Hyderabad and many other colleges earlier. These are the events that actually make a beginning, but then the end is not really after the 24 hours or after finals are done. So for example, many of these teams, finalists, the 6 teams that you heard about, they have continued their journey after these hackathon events into actually making their ideas more foolproof, more fun, more acceptable, and then so that it actually is being used by thousands of people on the app stores and so on and so forth. So these are the events that have no ending, and then the kind of support that is extended beyond these 24-hour events by these mentors and so on is kind of praiseworthy, because it's, after a certain event is done, after you get all the mileage that is expected, extending that support, over a period of time until everybody is happy is kind of not easy. It's not your job. You are doing that extra mile just to add that kind of a value, which is sort of, I really appreciate all the people involved in that. So it's in a way, it's a win-win for all. Lots of value for the students, lots of value for the institutions, universities, as my faculty colleagues have mentioned before. Lots of value for the Microsoft itself, because there's the kind of, if it can trigger that kind of enthusiasm, trigger the joy of doing these events, and a lot of great benefit for everybody in the ecosystem, that's very, very critical. So IIIT Hyderabad being perhaps the first university which actually is a research university, research-led, innovation-led university, has been partnering with Microsoft from the very beginning. Right in its formation, Microsoft played a critical role. So it has set up Microsoft Chair, and then we've been working with Microsoft very closely in doing several projects together at various research consortia, sponsored projects from Microsoft, working with Microsoft Research very closely, having lots of exchanges between Microsoft Research and IIIT Hyderabad, and then also in our incubation center, Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, which is the largest academic incubator in the country today, with over 50 companies, kind of being present, doing several things. Microsoft is a premier partner for us. So it's helping not just in academics. Actually, most of my courses, the courses that I teach, information retrieval and web mining and cloud computing kind of courses, where I invite a lot of people from Microsoft to give guest lectures, and then I go to Microsoft to spend some time with their teams, especially the Bing and so on, Bing team and so on. But also, they come and deliver classes in our courses, and also talk to several of our startup guys in kind of extending their help, mentorship, and without any strings attached. So that's a great example of a great partnership. I really appreciate the kind of synergy that is emerging, and then I really hope many companies follow this and to take all of us, the country as such, to the next level in terms of industry and academia relationship. Thank you very much for this opportunity.